Hello, friends. Welcome to the Drive Fitness program. I'm your host, Tom Driver. Today, my guest is Kayla Williams. Before we get started with the episode, I want to remind everyone that you can find the full video version of today's episode if you support us on Patreon. Along with that, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download our fitness app on the Apple app and the Google Play Store. As of right now, we have 5 new workout programs for the app that I can manually send to you if you want one of the programs. And by the time this release, we should have a new update, as long as Apple doesn't reject us, that will allow you to find those workout programs on your own. So if it's not the day this releases, it'll be in the next day or two. So if you can't find those workout programs on the app, just let me know. I can send them to you, but they should be available to you with this new update we got coming. All right. So moving our attention back to our guest, Kayla Williams. Kayla has been in 2 figure competitions before. In today's episode, we break down what was it like for her to train for those competitions, what the actual day of the competition is like, and what kind of experience and knowledge she gained from competing in her figure competitions. She corrected me many times, but I kept calling it bodybuilding, so it's similar to that. You get really strong and really shredded, and you flex. Oh my gosh, I sound so dumb. But listen, if you haven't listened to Kayla's first episode about nutrition, I would really recommend you actually check that one out first. Kayla has started a company called Purely Balanced Nutrition, in which she advises clients on their diets. And after our first episode, I actually signed up to be one of Kayla's clients. So I'm going to give a quick little take on what it was like to work with Kayla. The main thing that we did was track my macros. So she tracked everything that I was eating, and then she suggested a breakdown of my macros, which is protein, carbs, and fats, based on the diet that I was already eating. And then over the 3 months, she would help me adjust that based on whatever my nutritional goals were. On top of that, she helped me kind of gravitate towards some healthier foods. Some of the biggest changes is when it comes to meat, I really wasn't consuming enough protein in general, right? Even when it came to meats like steaks and beef, once I started tracking those, I realized that they had a lot more fat in them than I had realized. And so one big outcome of this is I eat a lot more chicken now, and I got off of drinking sodas, so now I found these flavored waters I've been drinking. I would eat a lot of chewy granola bars, and now I switched over to protein bars, and I've been eating just a lot more fruit and vegetables in general. I joined Team Water Jug, so now I carry around this douchey half-gallon water jug with me everywhere I go, and I drink it at least a half gallon a day, and I shoot for a whole gallon. Another thing that I've noticed is that I sleep a lot better now. It just regulated my sleep more, because every day I'm trying to hit my macros, and once I do hit them, there's this point where I can't eat anymore, and it just kind of sets my body in the right rhythm of, all right, now I need to go to bed, because I used to stay up all night long, and now I know that, oh, I won't be able to eat at all if I stay up all night. So it helps me just kind of get on a better rhythm overall. And yeah, I do feel a lot better staying consistent. Everyone would have a different spread of macros, but when you stay on a consistent diet, I do feel like my energy levels are at a more constant state. I almost have a sense now for if I need protein or carbs, like what kind of little energy spike I need throughout the day. So yeah, it was really eye-opening, especially just the whole process of tracking foods and seeing that breakdown. There's a lot of things that Kayla told me in our episode from 3 or 4 months ago that I knew those things. Like, she told me to eat chicken, but I didn't really understand it, and I needed to kind of see the data for myself. And I think there's a lot of people out there like me where you might hear great advice all the time, and you might know how to live a healthy life, but you just don't do it, right? And if you're kind of a data-driven person like myself, it's really helpful to just start scanning things into MyFitnessPal and just see that breakdown of, oh, wow, these Cheez-Its have fat in them. I didn't know that. Or, oh, my goodness, this meat doesn't have much protein in it, right? I was kind of surprised by the lack of protein in some of the meats I was eating. You know, it takes a lot of effort on your end, but Kayla is a great asset, and she really helps set you in the right direction. So if you want to sign up to be one of her clients, you can reach out to her on her website at purelybalancednutrition.com. And if you want to learn more about it, go check out her previous podcast episode. All right. Now, me and her are going to talk about figure competitions, as I mentioned in this episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. And last thing before we get started, her fiance, Frank, actually made us this beautiful, gorgeous, heavenly intro song. So thank you, Frank. We are back. This is Kayla's second episode, and we did not even mention this because Kayla knows so much about nutrition, but Kayla has actually competed in 2 different bodybuilding competitions.
Figure competitions, yes.
Figure competitions.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you first decide that you want to compete, and what was that decision like?
Oh boy. Probably when I was at one of my aunt's shows back in maybe I think I was in high school, and I was like, holy crap, yes, like this would just be extremely awesome. I would love this. And then I looked back on different photos of my dad when he did it, like in the 80s. You know, obviously like a lot has changed since then, obviously. But I was like, hell yes, like I would love this. So I started prep in like the spring of 2018. Did my first show August 2018 in Richmond, Virginia, actually. It was the Jay Cutler Classic. And then I did place at actually both of the shows. The second show was actually really awesome. That was here in, well, it was a little bit outside of Nashville, but it was in 2019. So I actually won a couple different categories. So that was just like incredible.
Hell yeah.
So fun. Yeah.
That's impressive. So
it was awesome.
You actually went to 2 different competitions then, right?
So I've been in 2 different shows.
Okay, because I saw in your room, her trophies are big blades, like almost like samurai swords.
So that was from the first show.
Both of those from the first show?
From the first show.
Okay.
And then the other stuff, and then that thing over there, the drawing a blank.
She's
trophy.
got like a big female bodybuilder trophy.
It's pretty sick.
That's why I was wondering. I was like, do they all give out swords? That's kind of random.
Some of them do.
But the swords was like, it makes sense that show, their thing is the swords, and this one does trophies. Okay.
So that one did trophy, and then the 2 medals that are on the other side of the bed.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I don't think Kayla's into weapons like this. That's so random, but it made perfect sense, right? Yeah. The cutter. What are they called?
It was the Jay Cutler Classic, but I mean, that wasn't because, I don't believe those had anything to do with like the swords. The swords, it just depends on the show that you do. So.
Cool. So, training. What is it like to train for one of these shows?
Honestly, it really wasn't that much different from what I basically had been doing since college. Like, I just trained extremely hard. I believe it was definitely 5 days a week. When it got deeper into prep, I believe it was like six times a week. But it actually weight trained. It was definitely 5 times. I had 1 full cardio day and then 1 full rest day. It was a lot, definitely. Wow. I loved it though.
Okay, 6 days a week you're working out, only 1 rest day. 5 of those are strong weightlifting days.
Weight training.
Nice.
So like bodybuilding style, obviously, but yeah.
What's like the overall philosophy and timeline on like, I'm pretty sure, isn't there like a bulking phase and then like a cutting phase?
Oh, well, yeah. So like when somebody kind of begins prep, right? And then prep, you know, obviously is like the whole cutting part, right? So usually that should be between 12 weeks, and like some people can do it for like 24 weeks. It's so insane. Both of my preps were about 16 weeks long, so that was about 3 to 4 months, so that was pretty solid.
Okay, that whole 3 to 4 months is cutting now. Okay, let's back up even further.
Sorry. So when you gained weight gained weight,
so
whatever.
When you're not cutting in general, you're kind of usually bulking,
putting
right?
on muscle.
But like, what's a appropriate amount of time? A year before, or like 9 months before, to start really taken bulking seriously?
That depends on the person and their body.
Because I'm sure it could take years for some people. Yeah.
Definitely.
How many years was it from when you were like, I want to do this, to when you did a show?
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of when was I on my aunt's show? Believe I was in high school, like late high school, or maybe very early, like freshman year of college.
But I feel like you didn't take lifting seriously in high school. I feel like...
Oh, gosh, no. Oh, yeah, no. So...
I feel like you got really into it like the end of our freshman year, right?
Yep, end of freshman year going into sophomore year. Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you knew I'm doing this for a show?
At some point.
Okay.
At some point, I did want to do a show.
And then when... Was it like junior year or senior year when your first show actually was?
No, my first show was after we graduated, like a whole year after.
Okay, so it's like 4 years. And during most of that time, you were bulking, right?
Bulking, whatever.
You were gaining muscle. You were gaining muscle. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you are leading up to the cutting phase and you're still thinking about bulking, what does
Are you saying that I am currently...
No, you haven't got to cutting yet, right?
Okay.
Say you're like 6 months out or something.
Oh, okay.
And you're still bulking.
Okay, gotcha.
What is your workout routine looking like around that time?
Usually it's kind of like the same as it would be if I was in prep. So I'll give you kind of an example right now. I'm a whole like year plus out because I'm taking the whole year of 2021 off also because of internship and wedding. So either way, I mean, right now I'm trying to hit shoulders twice a week because, you know, for figure, their whole big emphasis is on very capped delts. So like your shoulders here, right? Wide lats. And I believe the feedback I got from my last show was that my legs were fine. Definitely the back to, I believe, like open up, make it a little bit wider. And same with shoulders, you know, obviously like bigger shoulders. So...
And that's for you. That's specific
just for myself.
The feedback you got
just
from
for
your
myself.
last. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so I have two shoulder days currently. Chest, which is only like 3 exercises. Front delts with that, and then I have a whole delt day, which I actually did earlier.
You have a whole delt day?
Yeah.
Good God.
And then I have a back and arms. Arms really like aren't that kind of necessary to be training, you know, for figure because I mean I'm sure you've seen probably the pictures I posted, right? And actually, they kind of pose like that, right? So, like, you don't really kind of see your actual bicep, right? So, you don't really have to, like, you know, focus that much on biceps and triceps. So, that's why I do back and arms. And then I have 1 or 2 leg days, so.
Okay. Random sidebar. For the men, they got to do a lot of arms, I'm assuming.
Oh,
right?
gosh, yeah.
That's huge...
Yeah, because for them...
They're also flexing, like, with their arms up and shit. Yeah.
Exactly. And they're doing the side tricep poses and all of that, so yeah.
So you'll...
Completely different depending, like, on each division.
Okay, so you'll do arms mixing with the back day, upper back, right?
Just like all back. I personally, just kind of because of the pandemic, I haven't been to like an actual gym since like March. So I've just been at like the apartment gym.
Let's pick more on then how you were working out before your shows.
Before and after show.
Back then,
okay,
right?
Gotcha. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Like 6 months out of your first show, you're still doing arms with your back days?
Usually. I mean, granted, at the time my coach was kind of doing stuff. I've just like been kind of doing my own things now.
Do you like to pair deadlifts with leg day or deadlifts with back day?
I do deadlifts with leg day, actually.
Okay. I just started doing that.
It's kind of weird, I know, but that's just what I do.
Yeah. I used to always do like a chest day, back day with deadlifts, and then a leg day for squats so that I could that's when I was really trying to up my numbers in deadlifts and squats.
Sense. Yeah.
That was my priority at the time.
Those are very taxing.
I know. I really, whichever one I did first, I really couldn't give my all into the next one. Right. So I split them up. But since then, since I'm not really worried about those numbers, I've just started probably in the past like 6 months doing legs and squats and deadlifts together. I like it. It's hard. But
it is hard.
It really... It makes sense. It does make sense, you know what I'm saying, to do them together.
I would say it also kind of depends on the type of deadlift that you are doing. I personally, I used to do some conventional, like when I was in college, but it hurt my back. So I was doing sumos. Okay. So that's what I usually do. So then... You know, that obviously works more of your glutes, so that's why I would be doing those on leg day.
So for anyone out there that's trying to work on their glutes, sumo deadlift is a good exercise for them?
Yeah, I mean, sumos are great. Yeah, there's like a lot of just like different exercises that are good.
You ever do straight leg deadlifts?
RDLs? Oh, heck yeah. I do those on leg days, obviously.
On leg days, okay. Interesting. What are some of your other favorite workouts that maybe people aren't as hip to?
I really like curtsy lunges. So it literally is kind of as they're called, right? So you'll kind of do a curtsy to the left and then a curtsy lunge to the right, and like you will feel the burn.
Okay.
It's amazing.
And I didn't know right away, but I just figured it out. A curtsy, for those of you who don't know, it's like a little dance move, a little bow, a little bow you do, right?
So then,
and so for the
I can show you.
For the lunge, you're like taking a step back to one side and then to the other side, right? Okay. Yeah, those movement lunges are cool. I used to do ones where I would like walk across a room and then walk back across a room.
Those are awesome too.
Yeah, it's more than just a lunge at that point, you know?
Exactly.
It's a little bit of cardio in there.
Yeah.
What's one more cool exercise that you like?
Let's see. So I would say I really love training shoulders, obviously. So I'm trying to think of like a good shoulder.
Do a lot of people do a whole delt day like you do? Is that common?
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what I've always... I don't know. Now that you're asking me about it, I think so. But I mean, everyone, obviously has their own split. You don't have to do the same thing as someone else, obviously, because everybody has different goals.
I'm just curious because I'll work in one delt exercise with my back days. And I don't really...
You probably do your rear delt.
Yeah, I probably don't do enough on that. Yeah.
Yeah, although, we'll take a look at that.
wait. When you do a reverse fly, that's delt, right?
Yep.
Okay, I mix that in too sometimes with like shoulders or back. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth if I want to do delts with shoulders or delts with back sometimes.
Well, delt is shoulders.
Delt is shoulders. But
so
see,
your shoulders are your delts.
It messes me up because a fly like this is like a chest exercise. And then, I would feel like the opposite of the row version of a fly would be these delt exercises. It just feels like it's back almost, like upper back.
Well,
I guess I know it's not, but it just feels like it matches my back routine.
So, I mean,
like it mirrors my chest routine to do delts there.
Right. Your rear delts, obviously, are right here, right?
Yeah.
That is kind of also in your back.
Yeah.
There are some things, I'm sure, when you are kind of doing back, you are also kind of utilizing
your
those
delts.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wait, I feel like you were going on a tangent about one of your specific delt exercise you like.
I just kind of like them all, honestly. I just love delts. They're just so fun. The burn is just wonderful.
Hit those delts, fam. If you're not doing it, you gotta. It makes you just broader, right?
That would be your back.
Okay.
So like your delts in general, they just give you more, in my opinion, just like a better look.
Okay.
Like for your upper body. I
Got
don't know. Just really helps to kind of shape it.
I think that the more knowledgeable people I talk to, the more they like delts a lot. So I think that that's probably just a lack in my knowledge about lifting to why I don't do more. Okay, so now you're getting into cutting season, right? Okay. Reps wise, are you doing 6 to 8 reps on a lot of things when you're bulking and then you shift to like 12 reps and 15 reps? That's kind of a really high level of kind of how I see cutting, but is that how it is, or is it?
So
it's probably more complicated, obviously.
And then exactly. It is like very complicated because at the very beginning of prep, you can kind of still be doing the lower rep things. Usually not like 6, right? Usually I would say 8 to like say 10. And then, obviously, as time does kind of go on, it will be a little bit higher. But they still do encourage you to always continue aiming to go heavier, even as prep kind of does progress. And I mean, obviously, as prep does kind of go on, you will wind up losing like some strength, right? Because obviously, your carbs are totally tanked. So you don't have that much energy. But either way, it just kind of depends.
I know.
Yeah.
When we were talking off mic, you were saying you didn't really want to dive into the diet during prep, right? Is that kind of correct? You were just like, it was rigorous and it was rough.
I mean, I can just kind of talk about how rough it is.
Okay, we'll circle back to that. But I guess my point here is that I thought it had a lot to do with lower rep counts and high rep counts when you're cutting versus when you're bulking. And it seems like what you're saying is they're a little bit more similar than I thought. It's probably mostly the diet that changes during cutting season. Yeah. And the workout routine is almost the same, except for your energy levels are changing because of the because of the diet, and therefore you're not going to be able to push yourself as hard. Right. But you got to push yourself as hard as you can based on your diet.
Right. And this part also kind of does depend on the person, but usually as prep goes on, your cardio will like just ramp up. So obviously like that does take a lot out of you too.
Oh yeah, because I remember you were saying literally last night that like cardio, it'll help you lose a bunch of weight, right? But it won't be as sustainable as like a diet.
Right.
But
It's
for these
a
shows,
tool.
it's not really a sustainable thing. You're trying to get as thin as possible
As
for
lean.
this date, as lean as possible for this date. So cardio really gets ramped up there as that cutting season goes on, right? Interesting. So by like the last couple of weeks, are you doing cardio every day or 3 days a week, or?
I would have to look at my old stuff. Usually like 4 or 5 days.
Okay,
probably like 5 days.
And then are you really doing like weightlifting now, like 2 or 3 days a week instead of?
Do you mean at the end of prep?
At the very end, yeah.
So during peak week, so the week of your show, you have to go very light-ish, right? Just so that you aren't kind of overdoing it and then causing extra inflammation and everything, because obviously you don't want
Like
that
that
on show
pump.
day. Aside from peak week, that's the only time when you really only do light things, and it's only like for a couple of days that week. And that also kind of depends on your coach, because you know, every coach like is completely different, right? But in general, no, I would lift usually, like 5-6 times a week, just in general, even as the cardio went up.
But you're going down in weight. You're not,
because strength goes down.
yeah, because you're doing the cardio. You're not going as hard, right? Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of
And
really
the diet.
sucks everything out of you.
Yeah, that must be so draining, dude. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, the very first prep, right? I was just kind of working like in that time, so like that wasn't awful. But then last prep, I was in classes and work and prepping. It was,
Oh my gosh.
It was a lot. It was a lot to just like kind of juggle.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
It seems like it would be very, very fun if I had all the time in the world.
Exactly.
Going into class or work after that would be like, I'm ready to bite someone's head off.
That was myself in class. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
People, it wasn't a good time.
Hey, at least it's just like a time period and not like this is forever.
Because then afterwards, like, boom, so much better.
Yeah,
like,
now you're eating all the time, you're doing whatever.
Exactly. So I actually did not work the week of my show because I was just so hangry, like, and so grumpy. The boss, at the time was like, Kayla, like, just do not, I'm coming. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh my god.
That was hilarious. I was like, all right, awesome.
Oh man. So just don't come in. You're fine. Just stay home.
Literally, he's like,
We got it from here.
I do not want you here. I was like, all right, cool. I do not want to be here either, so that's fine.
Me and Frank were talking about this, how a key to like working out a lot is just enjoying it.
Oh,
Are
definitely.
you still enjoying the workouts at that point, or is it almost drained out of you?
Depends. When like you get closer, it's like we just have this, and then we're almost there.
I feel like there's a lot of adrenaline.
Well,
kind of-
and then there's also that. Yeah. By the end, I was very excited, and honestly, that's kind of what I kind of like really enjoy about competing is just kind of like that whole process going into it. I love that. Since then, it's been very hard to kind of get into it again, kind of without that end date goal or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's been
Yes,
tricky.
it's not as exciting at the moment, right? I
It's
used to
like-
play a very high level of soccer, and it's kind of hard for me to enjoy pickup games the same way like
Yeah.
today, because I'm not at that peak physical condition, you know?
Yeah.
Same in lifting in a way. I was lifting a lot of weight in college, and now
Yeah.
I'm not. I have to struggle so hard to like put up 80% of what I used to put up. Damn, like that's just not...
It's rough, I know.
You know, it's not as exciting to get weaker than you once were.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
definitely.
Although I guess there is probably right after this burst of, oh, I don't have to cut anymore. I can just bulk up and do the bigger weight, you know.
Well, that part's great, but then you have like the whole side of eating where, you know, post-show can be like very bad for some people.
Because I just overeat.
I will say I definitely did that. Just completely messed that part up for myself, so.
To you, that's like the end of the road, and then it's like, I'll just eat whatever I want, but you're probably gaining the wrong kind of weight during that time, and then
Yeah,
you're like,
because your
shit.
body's like, yes, 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 you
Yeah.
know. Just like, give me everything. And
It's like
you're
literally a starving, yeah. Because, yeah, I'm sure the way your body holds on to food, it's like, oh, we're in survival mode right now.
Exactly.
Like, we need to hold on to everything.
Bingo.
And it hasn't figured out it's not in survival mode yet.
Right.
So you probably have to, if you're smart about things or experienced, you're going to ease into it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you have to be doing post-show. It's like what they call a reverse diet. And I've actually done this with my clients, obviously, because, you know, when you get to that goal, you are at low calories, low carbs, low fat, etc. And so, you know, because of that, you obviously like cannot sustain that, right? So you kind of begin to like slowly increase everything as time goes on. Usually for the first 4 to 5 weeks is when like your body's like yes, but and you know, you just have to really take things extremely slow because like you don't want to like just go like and just like go jump and then like the body weight will be like, oh hey. So yeah, you definitely have to be careful with that.
So yeah, that sounds like a tricky moment that I'm sure I probably wouldn't have the discipline to do after I just had been so disciplined for months.
That's the problem. That's what happens. It's very hard.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of David Goggins, or he's like this guy that'll be on the Joe Rogan Experience sometime, and he'll talk about like running like, you know, like double marathons and like crazy stuff. And he kind of has this hard ass philosophy of you can push your body more than you think. You can go through more pain than you think. I keep calling it bodybuilding, but you
prep. Oh, like do you mean so like the one I do?
Figure competing? Yeah, I feel like bodybuilding and figure competing, I feel like that's a very hard thing that a lot of people don't go through. You're forcing yourself to go through a lot of pain that the average person probably can't withstand.
And you're not also for everyone.
You're also pushing your body, like you're crafting your body into something that naturally it wasn't going to do. It
doesn't want to do.
Yeah, and you are sculpting yourself, like you are pushing yourself to another level, you know? What did all that pain and pushing this goal that feels unattainable, what did that do for you in your life and your outlook on life after the fact? Do problems seem less hard because you're like, oh, I went through that shit? How did that affect your outlook on life?
Oh, boy. I mean, I guess I don't really think about it kind of like that. So, like, in the time when that does happen, you know, and you are going kind of through it, it's like, okay, you know, I can go do this, so I can go do that, if, like, that makes sense. Because, like, you have that goal, and you want to obviously go and achieve it. So, I don't know, I guess it really hasn't, I mean, like, I hate to say it, but No, you think so?
So listen. I'll
give me like some examples.
No, I'll answer my own question then, because for those of you who don't know, me and Kayla are like very good friends.
Yeah,
I've known her for 7 years.
Yeah,
I've known you throughout this time, and I see you the way you run your company and everything today.
Okay,
I think that it gave you a lot of discipline. I think that you have more discipline than 95% of the people I meet on the street, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's something that I see that you got a lot of discipline out of it. I feel like you know how to push not just your body to that level, but your company or your social media account or everything in life to
that's good. I like
different level through discipline that you might not have known was even attainable. You know,
no, definitely
before this
discipline. You know, is with any type of dieting, you know, you have to have that or you just will not achieve what you wanted. So, yeah, I really like that though. Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
Yeah, that's something that I struggle with. Do you have any tips or just things that you do that keep you disciplined? You seem to keep a bunch of notes and logs and calendars. What types of things did you learn during that time period? I bet being on a schedule is like a must, right?
Oh, gosh.
What other types of things keep you disciplined?
Definitely scheduling everything. Definitely just kind of having everything like as a priority. So I was actually talking to a client about this last week, and she was saying how like when she thinks kind of like about working out, you know, like she doesn't kind of see it as something built into her day. So, and that's kind of what I have always done. Like I've just always had it a part of my day, right? Whereas there are some people and they don't see it that way, and they'll just kind of be like, oh yeah, you know, if I have the extra time, then I like will go work out. Whereas I'm like, no, I have to go work out. Like it's just part of my day. And it's been like that since sophomore year of college. And then I will say, like, I do also talk to all of my clients about this too at the very beginning, and just kind of ask them, you know, why do they kind of want to lose weight, gain weight, etc. Like why? So just always kind of have that also in the back of your head too. There are some people and their why is so that like, you know, they can grow up and have a very healthy family life, etc. And there's something where, you know, some people are like, you know, I just want to actually look good and feel good every day. It just kind of like ranges. But no, definitely have a why. So obviously I will ask you that later on. But so we'll kind of get into that.
What is your why?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
I'm sitting here like, ooh, I got a golden question. What is your why in this moment?
Right. So basically, so my why is so just that I can always, well, not always. Okay, let me back up. My why as of right now is so that I can obviously live long, right? Like have like a long, healthy life so I can achieve those muscle building goals that I've always wanted, right? And just so that I can like live a long time and just like be healthy and gain the amount of muscle I've always wanted.
And I feel like
I should look more. I need to like do some thinking. But either way.
Well, maybe that's a challenge that comes with it. Like you were saying, you always had that why. There was always that next show, right?
See, that was the problem, yes. Yes.
And now maybe your wedding is like a show or something, you know?
I will be definitely cutting for that, and I'm so excited. That's going to start in March.
Oh, yeah. It's all a show. The wedding's a show, you know? It's
Hell
a competition.
yes, it will be.
You're competing with all the other brides and their pictures online. Oh,
there
man.
you go. Yeah. That's funny.
Wait, I had a tangent I was going to go on. When you say you want to live a longer life, I feel like a big part of this too, right, is you don't want to just live longer, but the years you have, you want them to be healthier, right?
Exactly.
Like you want to live a more prosperous life and not, if you live to 100, but from like 60 to 100, like you have all these health issues. It's
That's
not
what I
really,
don't want.
you want a high quality of life.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a very long-term goal to be like, at my old age, I want to be healthy. You know, it's kind of harder to keep on track when it's, you know, we're not having that many health problems in our 20s,
right.
you know?
Definitely.
It's
you always have to think ahead, though.
Yeah.
I always think ahead.
But that's why things like these shows and weddings and other events in our lives can be used as like milestones and, you know, goals. I had that 1,000-pound club goal back in college, but once I hit it, I didn't find another goal until I got fat, and then I wanted the six-pack again. It's not that I like needed to get overweight. I could have picked a different goal before that happened, but you know, I didn't have a goal for years, you know, and it just was like
hard.
I always had that one, and then it was just like I felt like kind of lost. So I feel like setting up those milestones is very important to keep track on those like long-term health goals.
Yes, they definitely are. Yeah. You know, even if it's like a short-term goal, always have a goal.
Or many goals, several goals.
Or a couple, yeah. But, you know, definitely, like, just have, like, something.
It honestly kind of reminds me of these actors that have to, like, get into those really skinny roles and things.
Yeah, and they have to, like,
they
lose weight really fast.
I was listening to the Matthew McConaughey interview, and he did a really skinny character. He dropped from, like, 185 to, like, 135 to play someone who had, like, probably some physical disability.
Oh my god!
In one of his movies, and he said he never bounced all the way back. Like he said, it has like it's had some long-term effects on him.
I bet it has. That's
and obviously,
terrible.
You guys push yourselves like as far as healthily possible, but you are
some people
altering your body. Oh yeah, some people probably don't.
Yeah,
but you're not going from 185 to 135.
Oh yeah, no.
It's not like that detrimental, but it's still such a big change to what you would have developed naturally that it's got to have some effects, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. A lot of people think that when they see someone who does do bodybuilding competitions or whatever, that they're healthy. Actually, no. They're really, like, not healthy at all. That sport, it's just not, like, that's not its whole objective is, like, for health. Yeah. Obviously.
It's for
just
physique
for looks.
And looks.
Aesthetics.
So, since you, like, know that, why do you want to continue doing shows?
Everyone asks me that. Frank, like, always asks me that. Yeah. Literally, like, so many times. I just like the challenge. I really like the whole challenge, like, the whole, I would say, mental part. So, honestly, like, a month-ish, like, month and a half out, like, from my last show, I was getting up at 5:30, going to the gym until like 7:15 a.m., going to class from like 8 to 2, going to work from 2 to 7, and then it's finding time to do homework. It was wild, but like I just like loved it, and I just like thrived on that.
Yeah, you're thriving.
Yeah, so I like boom.
Makes
like,
you feel
I like
alive.
that. Yeah, and so you know, like obviously haven't had that at all in 2020, and it's been hard. Yeah. It definitely changes like your mindset too. Yeah. Like when you don't have like that goal.
And that's the discipline and everything comes into play too.
And the discipline. Yeah. I love it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally different challenge, but me and Frank were kind of talking about how hard 2020 has been last night, and I was saying it's been tough, but I kind of feel alive. Like I also kind of thrive when the stakes are high. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's
that makes
kind
sense.
of fun to push yourself. Be like, I might not make like I might not make this goal that I've set up for myself. Like it's that hard. It's kind of amazing. You know?
No, it is. Yeah, like it is pretty awesome. Yeah.
So then you do enjoy the day-to-day process of it all. You
like
were saying
prep, you were saying?
Yeah, during prep.
Oh, I do love it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, there are times when, like, I'll just get just, like, extremely angry just because, you know, I'm hungry or whatever, like, as Frank. Just in general, like, I really do love it, the whole process.
This is interesting, and this is a moment where it would be fun to have Frank in, but let's just have you answer this question where me and Frank were talking about, like, how to turn maybe, like, negative emotions into positive spins. You seem like you do get angry sometimes, but you find ways to channel that.
That still happens.
You seem like you're able to channel that anger into like positivity. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like you'll get angry at a friend of yours who is not as in shape as they should be, and that will help them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people need that push. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Tough love. Everyone knows that Kayla gives tough love.
Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna ask how do you channel that anger, but I guess tough love is a pretty good method.
Yeah, and then like I just always kind of talk it out or whatever, even if it's like just with Frank, like oh blah blah blah, like this happened, like I just have to just like kind of tell you, or you know like I'll go work out or something, like go on like a walk or it's kind of like just like chill.
Yeah, Frank is like your personal therapist, right?
Literally, yeah, biased, but yes.
kind of same here, and for all of our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it definitely helps.
We were talking about, I think you said you found it really helpful to have a supportive significant other through this whole experience. It's very important to have at least one boyfriend or friend or mom or
support system.
Maybe even a trainer if you're very close, like someone who maybe can't just push you physically, but also can listen to like your emotions and help you, or just pick up some of the slack with like maybe you can't keep up with other aspects of your life because you're so drained.
That's the thing. Yeah, definitely. You know, like if you don't have that support, it allows things like to get really hard. And obviously prep like is already hard. You know, it's probably like one of the hardest things like I've ever done, right? Because you literally get to like under like 10% body fat. Like it's so crazy. And like for girls, that's like extremely low. Yeah, no, definitely. It's great to have someone who's always there to like support you, to just kind of help you out like when you have to have it. But no, it definitely does get hard because, you know, obviously that person, like they don't understand, right? And so like that kind of does cause things to get hard. And, you know, obviously like, you know, as females and honestly, I believe male bodybuilders experience this too, but like, you know, when your carbohydrates, when your fats get like pretty low, your sex drive dips also. And so, you know, obviously like that's, you know, something else like that can kind of cause like some issues too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so if you don't have someone that's like understanding.
Yeah.
And maybe even if they are having a hard time understanding, like you were just saying, they don't understand, so you need to inform them.
Right,
like,
yeah, definitely
hey, like,
just talk to them.
My sex drive has gone down because of X, Y, and Z. This was happening biochemically in my body right now. You need to at least inform that support system in your life why you're acting this way as best you can.
Exactly.
Instead of just being like, dude, I'm in this competition. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, that's interesting. I never knew that it had that kind of impact, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, you know, all of that like is probably amplified like if you are basically on any types like of PEDs too. I personally like will never ever use them because I just like I don't want that. I would say with that comes the understanding that I probably like will not get like as far in this, you know, as say the person that's on this to this and that. And then their shoulders are super capped and like their lats like, you know, are like super wide. But like I just like I don't really like want to go like and do that.
It's not all about size, right? I mean, you can be kind of smaller and have a very good... Each
division has its like own specifications. That's where it gets real confusing.
Do we want to go into the different divisions? No.
No.
Is it body weight?
No.
Okay.
So no, let's just not.
Okay.
It's so complicated.
How about this? Let's we don't want to get into the details of the whole competition, but when it comes to the competition day, what's the schedule?
The earliest one I had, I believe, was the show my last show, so in 2019. So I woke up at 2:30 a.m. so that I could get my makeup done, if that kind of tells you anything. It was just like insane. So that was done that early. I had a third coat of tan at like 5 or 6 a.m. I had to be at an athlete's meeting at like 8 a.m. Prejudging began at 9. And like, so prejudging is the very first time when you're on stage. And so like you'll be with everyone else that is in your class. And so for guys, they do it based off of weight, I believe. For females, it's by height. So usually I was in like B class because I'm 5'4". Actually, yeah, I think it was B. Yeah, so then you'll get on stage and do all of that there. The whole goal is to get dead center, right? So say like there's a group of 5 girls. You want to be right here, and then you want everyone else like on the side of you. Because then at finals, usually you'll be number 1. So that'd be awesome. But either way, so then you'll have, prejudging. And before you go on stage, just like in general, you always want to eat some carbohydrates so that your muscles can be more full from carbohydrates. Going into your peak week, majority of people aren't having like that many carbohydrates, so everything just looks like, I would say, overall flat, right? Not how like we want it to kind of look. You will pump up beforehand, like use some bands, weights if you have them. Usually I would have some sour candies or honey, rice cakes, etc.
What is sour
jelly?
Candy? What is sour
candy? It is like, pure carbohydrates, and so like that just will go right to everywhere that is flat and whatnot, and it can just kind of help you to overall look a lot better. But either way, so then you pump up, eat your sugar, you'll go on stage, do that, come off, and then depending on the show, usually there's like a pretty wide gap of time between, prejudging and finals. In between that, you just kind of hang out, eat your food, put your feet up, chill with your friends, family, etc. Then you'll go back on stage later on, usually at like nighttime, so like 5 or 6 p.m. And then you will get your awards, and then you're done. Then you can go and eat, and it's like the best time ever.
Hey.
Yeah.
So let me break down just one piece of that, which is while you're on stage, you do probably like several poses, right?
So
is that it? Do you like walk around, or you just get into one spot and do several different poses?
So both, actually. So within each division, you have your own, I would say, individual routine, and then you will have a certain number of poses that you will hit with the other people that are in your class.
Okay, so you go out by yourself?
Yeah, that's when it's like, oh my god, like this is wild.
The other way is kind of scary too, because you can look really good by yourself and you might stand right next to someone and be like,
Yep.
Like, I've had friends that I thought were huge, ripped, shredded, the most shredded jack guy I know, and then he showed, like, I see a picture of them, like, at a competition, and they're like, the smallest out of, like, 5 guys, and I'm like, oh my god, those other guys are huge.
Exactly. It's just, like, it's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, the ceiling on how absolutely jacked some of these people are is, like, scary.
PEDs, man.
Yeah. What's a PED?
Performance enhancing drugs.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Just, like steroids, etc.
This might be a rabbit hole, but do they have competitions for people who use certain performance drugs and people who don't?
Yeah. So the federation that I have been competing in is called the NPC, so National Physique Committee. They do not drug test. They do not polygraph or anything. However, there are a couple drug tested federations. So like there's the NGA, so National Gym Association. My aunt has her pro card in the NGA, so it's like pretty cool.
So you could have been competing against people on steroids. Right.
Oh my gosh, 100%. I'm pretty sure like there was a couple girls that were.
Okay.
So that's why it's also like, well, I did also do this like to myself, so
It's so weird. You know how people criticize award shows because they bring all these world-class artists together who have all made some of the best music of the year, and then they give just like one person the award, and it's like
that's crazy.
You basically showed up to like watch yourself lose like 4 out of 5 people.
But at the same time, you can do that with bodybuilding too.
Yeah. But and it's also though almost a reward just to be in like the Grammys or something. So I feel like it's so weird. It's such a personal journey. It's such a personal achievement. It almost has nothing to do with those other fucking people on the stage at all.
It's all about
like,
you.
If
it's
you,
your own journey.
Like, it would probably be almost as rewarding as if you did all the whole thing and walked up there on your stage by yourself and no one else was even there that day. It was like you and your close friends, and they were like, nice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it is to you.
Yep.
Is it kind of weird to be judged and ranked right after you've just spent like a year pushing?
It's very subjective.
You know,
God, yeah.
I couldn't imagine getting like last place after I look better than like 90% of the people on the planet, but I'm like last place in my little competition.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think that's ever actually happened to me. At least, like, not yet, right? But I'm sure that that's like super, just like awful.
But or you're like, I don't care because this wasn't about that.
You have to go kind of, I would say, into it with that mindset of this isn't so that, you know, I can get first or second place.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, I went through like that whole process. You know, granted, there are some people like, say you want to go and then get your pro card. Well, obviously then, you know, you have to kind of go into it with, yes, I have to either get first place, second place, so I can get that pro card at the national show. A pro card is when you do compete at a national level bodybuilding competition and you place, usually it's first out in the open. That means you're first in regards with everyone. So this is when it gets kind of complicated.
We don't have to jump into it if we don't
Well,
want.
so I'll just abbreviate what a pro card is. Pro card is when you kind of get to that point where you can begin making money from this.
Got it.
So if you get first or second place, then you can win money.
Obviously, yeah. If you're
pro show.
If you're gonna make a real career out of it,
right,
you gotta be a winner.
Exactly. You have to like get your pro card.
Yeah, I feel like for a majority of people, though, even for the people with their pro cards, I feel like my main focus would be like I'm competing against my past self. Right.
Right.
Is that kind of the mentality?
That's like what I do.
Like if you look better in this next show than you did in the last show,
that's my freaking goal. You win. I hope so. Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's cool. That's a really, not everything sounds healthy about this, but that's a really healthy mentality for people that do this, I think, to keep in mind, right?
Oh, definitely. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like not the healthiest.
And if it's your first show, everyone's a winner, right? Because you're
exactly, because you're better than like probably you know how you were. Yeah. So that's great.
Well, I don't think I will ever compete like this. That's not really my thing, but I love it. I love that people are pushing themselves. I want to build my own body out in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not necessarily to that level, but I like the idea of humans being like, this is what I want for my body. I'm going to go get it. Like, like I am in control. Like, I'm in control of how I look. You know?
Exactly.
It's like
have that mindset.
It's like we're fighting against nature, almost. You know what I'm saying? Just like the same way we build cities and all this stuff. It's like, internally, I am fighting this upward battle of what nature wants me to look like. Yeah. And I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to fucking look like this, you know? It's dope.
Yeah. No, 100%. It is pretty awesome.
Well, you are extremely inspirational, motivational. I appreciate your discipline.
Hell yeah.
And do you have any final thoughts just about bodybuilding, weightlifting, bigger competitions before we wrap this up?
I don't. I'll say it's definitely not for everybody, but you know, if you kind of have been on the brink, then there honestly isn't anything that you could lose other than your time and money, because we did not go into this, but this shit's very expensive. Like, very. So if you don't have like those extra kind of funds, do not do it.
The spray tans, the bathing suits.
Your suit, your hair, jewelry, makeup, the freaking hotel, the food. The food, the supplements,
so the trainer.
Your coach, exactly.
You basically need a trainer to do this,
You
right?
should have a coach, 100%.
Okay, 100%. Yeah, so that adds up, guys.
Oh, God, so much.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to push your body as much as you can, living your life. But yeah, obviously it's a big time and financial commitment.
Time, yes.
If you ever want to pick this up.
Definitely.
But yeah, if you're thinking about it, man, maybe reach out to Kayla. Hit them with your Instagram handle. Yeah,
so you can find me on Instagram at nutrition with Kales with 2 S's, and my website is purelybalancednutrition.com.
All right, guys, and if you haven't checked out her first episode,
go watch or listen.
Yeah, go listen. We went all into nutrition, which is her main expertise at the moment. So go check out her Instagram. Go check out her last podcast episode. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Kayla.
Yay, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yay, we did it.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you listened all the way to the end, I'm going to ask you to do a huge favor for me, which is whether you listen or not on Apple Podcasts, please go to Apple Podcasts and rate us 5 stars. I'm pretty sure that 5-star ratings help us pop up in all sorts of like search engine optimization algorithm technical mumbo jumbo jargon. It helps. It's good. It's good for the business, okay? It's very good for me if you give me the 5 stars on the Apple Podcasts. You don't even need to know why.